Let us pray. Dearest Father, even in the midst of all the turmoil of this morning, we thank you that we can gather together today to celebrate the achievements of these wonderful students and the work of this faculty and staff. And I pray that today, even with all of the thunder and the lightning, we still will be able to leave here knowing that we have done your work with these students and that we are celebrating their achievements as we leave. In Jesus' name, amen.
Wow. What an incredible performance to start our morning. In this choir are a large number of our graduating seniors, as you see. Seniors who arrived on this campus as freshmen when I was also a freshman here. They sang at my inauguration and traveled the state for 4 years with my wife, Celeste, Quincy Brown, and me to churches across the North Georgia Conference of the United Methodist Church. Many of them are going on to distinguished graduate schools and conservatories to continue their music studies. We will miss them, and I know Ms. Ogle will miss them. Let's give another round of applause for our magnificent LaGrange College Chamber Singers and their conductor, Debbie Ogle. Well, we've had our own battles and walls to come tumbling down this morning, haven't we? You know, I work real hard moving up to commencement as everybody across campus does. My work is on preparing a script. Who needs it? All script is off for this morning, but I want to welcome everybody here this morning. For more than 150 years on this campus, we have been celebrating this particular ceremony since we moved here over 150 years ago. Usually, we do it outdoors. Today, we were denied that opportunity. This is a first in my experience, and it's a first in a very, very long time. I want to say that I did my very best to control the weather, and I know, having asked the seniors to pray yesterday, you did your very best. We're sorry that didn't work out, but we're delighted to have you here. I want to welcome the distinguished guests here today, the citizens of LaGrange, parents, family, friends. I also want to welcome a couple of distinguished guests today that are my colleagues in the profession of higher education. And one in particular who is a long-time, well-loved colleague on this campus. Dr. Jay Simmons, who now serves as a colleague of mine among the United Methodist College presidents, as the president of Simpson College, is here to see his daughter, daughter Samantha, graduate. He is here with his wife. He served here as dean of the faculty and vice president of academic affairs. And I want to just welcome him back home and give him a warm welcome. I also want to welcome an individual who stands as an icon of great academic leadership in the state of Georgia, who served for many, many years as the president of Emory University. Dr. James Laney is here to see his granddaughter, Paige Castle, graduate, and let's also give him a warm welcome to the LaGrange College campus. We welcome all of you to this glorious celebration and grand historic tradition, and we thank you for being here. At the core of this college is a group of individuals who daily devote their lives to serving students. LaGrange College is blessed by a faculty and staff who are dedicated to transforming students, to challenging their minds and inspiring their souls, to supporting them in their search for truth, and to preparing them to become successful, responsible citizens who aspire to lives of integrity and moral courage. Would the members of the LaGrange College faculty and staff and those retired faculty and staff who are with us this morning please rise as we acknowledge your influence on the lives of these graduates. Standing alongside these graduates every step of the way, encouraging them when they were discouraged, loving them even when they may have fallen short, cheering them on to achieve their very best, are their parents, spouses, brothers, sisters, children, grandparents, aunts, and uncles. Would the families of the class of 2013 please stand so we can acknowledge your influence on your graduates' lives. Whether you're are graduating today on the 4, 5, or yes, maybe even the 6+ year plan, or have completed your graduate degrees, each of you has sacrificed and persevered to come to this point. You have fought many battles to make your own walls come tumbling down. Some of you have overcome athletic injuries to come back and play harder and better than ever. Others have fought frightening, debilitating illness with brave determination. Some have worked long hours at multiple jobs to now be able to take that dream job fresh out of school. Others of you have juggled lives as parents and working professionals with the challenges of becoming a student once again. All of you have experienced a time of change and transition on this campus as we move from one administration to another. And all of you have lived through the worst of an historic economic crisis that roiled not only the nation, but the world. Yet one by one, your walls have come tumbling down, and here you are today, ready to receive your degrees on which you will build your futures. In the process, you have developed strengths that will serve you for the rest of your lives. We're proud of you and look forward to celebrating this day with you. Congratulations. And now, to present the senior gift, I invite Trevor Lane, a biology major with a minor in sustainability, to come forward. An Eagle Scout and the brother of Alpha Delta Gamma National Fraternity, Trevor has served on the SGA Senate, most recently as Vice President of Press Relations. And he is President and founder of the Panther Power Team, as you will notice. Please welcome Trevor to the podium.
I look out on the sea of black gowns that is our class of 2013 and know that, had it not been for the overwhelming generosity of past graduates, faculty, and staff, and other friends of the college, so many of us would not have had the financial means to be graduating today. So many men and women in the class of 2013 take this to heart. I know they do, because they gave to LaGrange College through the 2013 Paint the Hill campaign. The Paint the Hill campaign is a student fundraising campaign led by senior class volunteers who are committed to encouraging their classmates to give back to LaGrange College. I am so proud to say the class of 2013 has had record participation this year. The class of 2013 has had more students give than any other class before us. 100% of our nursing graduates, 100% of our Delta Mu Delta Business Honor Society, 100% of Alpha Omicron Pi Fraternity, 100% of Phi Mu Sorority, 100% of Pi Kappa Phi Fraternity, and 100% of Alpha Delta Gamma Fraternity have given to the campaign, which supports deserving students with financial aid, undergraduate research costs, and gen-term study away experiences. President McAlexander, on behalf of the class of 2013, I would like to present this check to you from our class for $1,509. Thank you, class of 2013, and remember that it's never too late to give.
Each year, the college grants to one exceptional student the Rates G. Henry Jr. Award. This award, named in honor of the 20th president of LaGrange College, is the highest award given to a student. The award is based on significant achievement in 3 areas: scholarship, service, and leadership. I'm extremely pleased to invite forward as the recipient of the Rates G. Henry Jr. Award for 2013, Amy Elizabeth Peak.
Thank you, Provost Garrison. Good morning, class of 2013. Good morning, parents, family, friends, faculty, staff, all of you that have gathered here together this morning to honor our graduating class. Thank you for being here and coming out in the crazy storm that we had to go through this morning and cramming into this tight space. Thank you so much for being here. Although all of us have had test days and finals weeks that have seemed to go on forever and ever, these past 4 years for our class have truly flown by. I'm sure we can all remember the day that we moved onto the hill with cars full of clothes and room supplies, not having any clue what those next 4 or 5 or 6 years would bring us. Since that move-in day, though, our class has seen a great amount of transformation on this campus, starting with the inauguration of our new president, President Dan McAlexander. We watched as staff, faculty, and administration went through changes, saying goodbye to many of those that poured into our lives during their time here, and welcoming many that have done just the same. We experienced change in the athletic department as we followed the lead of our new athletic director, Coach Claybrook, with her unmistakable and loudly heard Panther pride. And of course, the introduction of our new Panther mascot, Pouncer, whose appearance is thankfully more intimidating than his name. We watched as many of the buildings on campus, such as Lamar Dodd, the CAF, and Henry, were renovated and transformed. And of course, we can't forget the cute little freshman girls' dormitory of Pitts Hall being turned into a terrifying haunted house that is probably still giving some of us nightmares. And lastly, we will never forget the bipolar weather that consistently, even to today, has brought mostly unwanted transformation to the landscape of the hill. Poor National. I'm sure we can remember being piled into the hallways of our dorms, playing charades and card games as tornado after tornado after tornado passed over our home on the hill. Or what about the unexplainable plague of locusts, also known as the rise of the cicadas, that seemed like they were taking over our campus? In the most recent weather phenomenon, the great hailstorm, or as senior Joanna Meyer put it, when the Zaxby's ice machine broke all over LaGrange. From student engagement to athletics to our home on the hill, we have experienced transformation on this campus. When we look back on our college years, not only will we remember some of these priceless memories and many, many more, we will see how this college has lived up to its mission statement of challenging our minds, inspiring our souls, and transforming our lives, not only in these years here, but for the rest of our lives. LaGrange College has challenged us to go a step further in the field of academics, with teachers that care for us individually and push us to be better prepared and more intelligent students. As many of us here today were recognized at Honors Day, we felt the reward of many of those challenging days in the classroom. But even as we all leave here today with our caps, gowns, honor cords, medallions, stoles, we will continue to be rewarded by the challenges that LaGrange College has presented with us as we go forth into our jobs and grad schools and into the real world, as terrifying as that may be. LaGrange College has inspired us to have a heart of service by giving back to the community of LaGrange through events such as our first week cleanup days, soup kitchens, charity runs, lake cleanups, paint the towns, and so many more. Through opportunities such as these, I fell in love with the town of LaGrange as I found my place to serve at First Baptist Church on the Square. There, I was embraced by even more of the LaGrange community and found my own place in ministry that led me to pursue a master's degree in seminary in the fall. LaGrange College has transformed us into stronger and more confident people through the many organizations on campus that we are all a part of. My experience with Baptist Collegiate Ministries over the past 4 years has been a monumental place of transformation for me. It provided me with consistent community and mentors outside of the classroom that were there to do life with me through the ups and downs of college life. And I know each of you could say the same of all the organizations that you all represent here today. But no matter what letters or colors or logos we've worn on our t-shirts for the past several years, we were all transformed by LaGrange College as we went from scared kids coming out of high school to confident men and women ready to take on the world today. On top of the awards, events, and organizations that have aided in our transformation, we must thank those mentors that have poured into our minds, souls, and lives through their commitment to LaGrange College and us as students. And each of those are sitting here behind me today. I'm sure I could ask each person in our graduating class of faculty and staff that have impacted our lives, and we would all be able to name someone different. When I think about teachers that have challenged my mind, I immediately think of Dr. Ahern, who challenged me to dig deeper and to argue harder for my ethics and beliefs. And Dr. Turner, who challenged my understanding of music and welcomed us to his music theory class every day with the greeting of, "Good morning, punks." When I consider those that have inspired my soul, I think of Miss Ogle and her love for music and students that taught me how to always find the best in people, even when it is hard to see. And Alvin Lingenfelter, who in the classroom and on the mission field in El Salvador, inspired me to truly live out my faith and never settle for the easy way out. When I consider those that have transformed my life, I think of Dr. Anderson, who has not only been my advisor, but a life mentor, a role model, a friend, and even a mom at some points. And Dean Slay, whose family has become my family, and who has always had an open door when I needed advice, encouragement, or just a good laugh. And even when his door wasn't open, Miss Kirby would let us in to decorate/destroy his office for his 50th birthday. I'm still convinced that he's keeping those Justin Bieber decorations somewhere. These mentors and many, many others have challenged and inspired transformation in me from the day that I walked onto campus for the first time as a student until now, the day that I walk across campus for the last time as a student. And I will forever be thankful for their influence on my life. So thank you. I also cannot leave here today without thanking the precious women that put up with me day and night as my roommates. Brittany, Miranda, Sarah, Abby, and Kelsey. I am so thankful for each one of you and the memories that we made, whether over just one semester or 2 years. And of course, I must thank my family. As I wear this legacy medallion around my neck, I'm reminded that I probably would not be here if my older brothers had not chosen LaGrange College before me. And I certainly would not be here without the love and support of my parents, who encouraged me to chase every dream that this college has inspired in me. And lastly, I thank God, who has brought each one of us here with a specific purpose and has a specific plan for each one of us as we leave here today. There is something out there for each one of us, whether it be a grad school, a job, a new family, or a new adventure. We are all going forward into something new. I pray that the memories and lessons learned at LaGrange College continue to challenge, inspire, and transform you for many years to come, and that you will not forget those that encouraged and supported you along the way. I leave you with these words from Numbers chapter 6. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift his countenance upon you and give you peace. Congratulations, class of 2013.
Good morning. I'm Jackson Daniel, president of the LaGrange College Alumni Association, and I bring you greetings from the association, all of those who are alums in the audience, and especially those who will be in the next hour. Welcome. And I'll take a personal point. Some of us graduated in this building about 30 years ago, and it looks a lot different now than it did then. So each year during commencement, the LaGrange College Alumni Association presents its Distinguished Service Alumni Award. The recipient of this award is selected based on his or her
continuous devotion to and support of this institution and its mission to challenge the minds and inspire the souls of young men and women. This year, with deep respect and admiration, the Alumni Association recognizes Dee Dee Godwin Williams, who earned her Bachelor of Arts degree in 1974 in Business Administration and Mathematics. Dee Dee, would you please come forward and stand with me? Dee Dee, you have supported LaGrange College for many years with your generous donations to numerous designations and projects, including the LaGrange College Fund, the Lewis Library and related construction projects, the LaGrange College Panther Club, the Athletic Department, the Leadership Council Fund for Academic Distinction, the Class of 1974 Loyalty Fund scholarships, and many unrestricted gifts. You are a member of the LaGrange College Board of Trustees and have served since 2008. You served as a member of the college's Leadership Council from 2001 through 2007. You have offered your services in many ways to LaGrange College, especially in the area of business. You have supported LaGrange College with your attendance at numerous receptions and events, both on and off campus. You are a reader for the LaGrange College Service of Lesson and Carols for the Celebrate the Servant program, and in 1997 you were named to the Wall of Outstanding Alumni. In 1998, you served as a member of the Presidential Search Committee. Dee Dee, you have blessed this institution and her students with your servant's heart and your vision for the future. We are enormously grateful to you for your service to the college. Your husband, Calvin, also an alumnus, class of 1974, and other members of your family and friends join you in paying tribute on this special day. Would all of Dee Dee's family members and friends who are present please stand? And they stand with me as I say it is a great honor to represent your alma mater in presenting you the 2013 LaGrange College Distinguished Service Alumni Award.
This one? Good morning. To the graduates of 2013 and President Dan McAlexander, Chairman Hodges, platform guests, families, and friends. It's an honor and a privilege to stand here this morning, inside and out of the rain, and receive this Distinguished Service Alumni Award. So much of what qualifies me as a recipient of this honor I owe to this great institution. I'm not sure that I realized that when I graduated, that the extent to which my life would change as a result of my experience here at LaGrange College. I doubt that you do too, either. But please know that when you leave here, you will leave with a credential that is irrevocable. What you have earned, no one can take away. Be proud of it and protect its reputation. I'm sure that you won't remember much about who said what today. However, I would like to give you a few of the guiding principles that continue to serve me well. Most of them are not original, but they continue to serve me well. And I feel that it is more important what they have done in my life and how they've guided me than the credits. You do not need to be perfect. Have the courage to accept that you're not perfect. Nothing is and no one is, and that's okay. In life, the things that go wrong are often the very things that lead to other things going right. Blessings in disguise often reveal themselves with time. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your inner voice. Nothing is really over until the moment you stop trying. You can Google an answer, you can Google a mate, and you can Google a career, but you can't Google to find what's in your heart. The passion that lifts your feet off the ground. Understand that the right to choose your own path is a sacred privilege. Use it. Don't hold grudges. Forgive and remember, for when we forget, history has a way of repeating itself. And finally, remember the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. Congratulations and Godspeed.
We're so proud of you, Dee Dee. Thanks for those wonderful words. Dee Dee has served this college in so very, very many ways and has been a wonderful support to the presidents that have served since she went here all the way back in the 70s. And she has just been a wonderful alumnus and a wonderful board member, and we're so grateful. Dee Dee, thank you. LaGrange College seeks to honor those who have distinguished themselves through outstanding achievement and service to the academy, the church, business, or philanthropy. We are pleased and honored to present such a candidate today. Chairman Hodges, the faculty and the Academic Affairs Committee of the Board of Trustees have recommended James H. Shepard, Jr. for the degree of Doctor of Humanities, honoris causa.
As chair of the trustees of the college, I take great pleasure in accepting the recommendations of the president and the faculty of LaGrange College, and I hereby authorize you to confer an honorary doctoral degree upon James H. Shepard, Jr., together with all appropriate honors, rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto appertaining. President McAlexander, please proceed.
Pioneer, advocate, beacon of hope. Mr. Shepard, you took an event that would have shattered most people and used it to encourage and restore lives touched by tragedy. When you were paralyzed after a body surfing accident at the age of 22, you were determined to recover, and recover you did, learning to walk again. With that victory came a new passion. You and your parents, Harold and Alana, vowed that future victims of spinal cord and brain injuries would have the very best care possible. 2 years later, the Shepard Center was born, offering help and hope to those who despaired of finding either. You also kept a lifelong dream alive by taking your place in the family construction business, the only job you ever wanted. You've been a fervent advocate for all people with disabilities, working to make transit systems, sports complexes, airports, businesses, and housing more accessible. You have served on the boards of the National Rehabilitation Awareness Foundation, Georgia Tech Center of Rehabilitation Technology, and the Governor's Spinal Cord and Brain Injury Trust Fund Authority. You helped organize the 1996 Atlanta Paralympics and were a delegate to the White House Conference on Handicapped Individuals. But your focus has always remained on the people who came through the doors of the Shepard Center, not just the patients, but their families as well. For your dedication to being a voice for the disabled, a rebuilder of lives, and a source of hope for those stricken by catastrophe, we humbly bestow upon you the degree of Doctor of Humanities, honoris causa, LaGrange College, May 18th, 2003. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in warmly welcoming LaGrange College's 2013 commencement speaker, Dr. James H. Shepard, Jr.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Chairman Hodges, President McAlexander, and the trustees for the honor. It's one of those that I guess you never think you want to work toward, because the price is years of servant leadership and helping others. But it's also been a piece of my family. My mother and father are here today, along with my wife, Linda, to be part of this, to be a part of your graduation, and the privilege of moving forward in life with something you've really earned. So today, May 18th, is one of those days I want you all to hold and mark, because it's one of those mile markers in your life. So congratulations to you all. Congratulations to the parents who stood by you, the siblings who stood by you, the parents who have viewed this day as they've graduated, and I can finally sigh a little relief. But you know what? They come back. So be ready. There's another day I want you all to just reflect on briefly. It's November 12, 2008. It's a day when your classmate, Hill Daniel, also suffered an injury similar to mine. And I've watched his family support him, love him, watched him grow, and watched him excel down here. One of our peer supporters, Mina Hong, told Jackson there'll be a day when Hill is not defined by his wheelchair. And there have been several of those since he left us and left our care. But today is another one of those days, and a huge day, where he's defined not by being on wheels like I may be, but by being a graduate with all of you all. Today I reflect back on my graduation from UGA in 1973. And I had gotten a business degree. I'd chosen not to walk because it was such a large group of people, and I was in a hurry. I've always been one of those people that was kind of in a hurry. I liked adrenaline. If it was drag racing, skydiving, if it fell far or went fast, I was on board. So a friend and I, along with my sister, took off to go explore and to just take the time out, and we started on the east coast of Africa, in Egypt, Ethiopia, Kenya, Tanzania, all the way down the east coast, photo safaring, Mount Kilimanjaro, and discovered some of the finest waves in the world. I don't know how many of you are body surfers, but I had been used to the 3 and 4 foot waves on the east coast. And in Africa, we discovered that there's some big waves, 15, 20 feet tall. And you could come down the face of that, hold your hands down, arch your back, and lean a shoulder and steer. Reach the bottom of the wave, ball up, and find yourself coming right back down the face again. So it was one of those that was just designed to pump adrenaline, and I was in love with it. So we left in May for that trip. In October, we arrived in Rio de Janeiro. South America was the next continent of quest for us. And the third day, my 2 friends and I were out on the beach. It was hot. We were laying in the sun. And I looked up and I said, well, I'm warm. Anyone want to go surfing? No, you go ahead. And I looked out and the waves were 10, 12, maybe 14 feet. And, you know, by comparison, relatively small to what we'd seen in Africa. So I looked out, didn't pay a whole lot of attention to them coming in and just not breaking the way a wave ought to break. The third wave I caught, it came down the face, and it just fell over, literally. And it drove me headfirst into the sand in about 3 feet of water. And I can still very vividly remember being stunned, tumbling in the bottom, and realizing something was wrong and that I needed to get out of the undertow. So I waited till I felt the pressure of the next wave go over and tried to kick off the bottom. I couldn't kick. The next wave went over, and I couldn't push with my arms. And it was at that moment I realized something was terribly wrong, and I was going to drown. And I held my breath as long as I could. And finally, the body's reflex just takes over. And I can still very vividly remember choking a few times, and then my lungs were full of water, and I can still have that sensation of the sand going up and down my throat as I went peacefully to sleep. The only part of drowning that's bad is the fear that you're going to drown. Once you start to go to sleep, it's pretty painless. The next moment was waking up in a little tin roofed shack on the beach, the little drown unit. And apparently I'd washed up in the surf, and the lifeguard pulled me out and I was blue, so he walked away, thinking it's another surfer who's perished in our surf down here. And my two friends happened to see the crowd and came down, and one of them resuscitated me. So I wake up in a little drown unit on a little stretcher, terrified because I hurt from the base of my skull to my tailbone. Didn't know what was wrong, but I knew I couldn't move, and I knew I hurt terribly. Went back out of reality, woke up again in a little operating room in a 22-bed hospital in Rio, with an orthopedic surgeon with a straight razor shaving the sides of my head to put ice tongs in to try and put weight and reduce the fracture in my neck. And my two friends, while that was going on, had gone to the telephone, and they had called my mother and father and said, there's been an accident. It's that call every parent dreads. What's happened? How bad is it? Are they going to live? And they went and very quickly gathered cash from every one of their friends, because there were no ATM machines back then, and they knew they were going to need money when they arrived in Brazil. So they were there as soon as the flight could be booked, get on and come down. They arrived to find me in a little bed, too short, my feet sticking through the bed rails, in traction, paralyzed from the neck down. Within another 2 days, I developed pneumonia from the paralysis and the drowning. And they came in and said, you know, you're drowning in the fluids of your lungs. We're going to have to put you on a ventilator. And they did. They gave me 2 quick shots of Novocaine, cut my throat, and popped it in. And I fought, because it was so unnatural. It wasn't my rhythm. It wasn't my pace. It wasn't my speed. And then I adjusted. And we spent the next 5 weeks in Brazil trying to get out of there. I mean, they had a wonderful set of doctors who'd been trained in the U.S., but they were really just trying to keep me alive. And down there, they let people perish who were quadriplegic because they just figured they're not going to survive on a ventilator. Finally, the arrangements were made, my father and mother, through a U.S. Senator Herman Talmadge. He arranged for us to pay for a C-141 medevac to come down to Brazil and fly me back to Atlanta. And we thought that if we got back to Atlanta, to our doctors, to our friends, everything was going to be okay. And it was sort of a rude awakening, because everything was okay in that we had a lot of good doctors, we had a lot of attention. But they really didn't know what to do with me from a rehabilitation standpoint. And one of the primary physicians even today says I was guessing at keeping you alive. They told me several times and told my parents, and I watched my father threaten to kill a couple of doctors along the way. I mean, if it wasn't for 2 wonderful parents who were very passionate about what they did, who just absolutely stepped up to the plate, I wouldn't be here. So I sat from October 21st for 5 weeks in Brazil, arrived in Piedmont, several more weeks in ICU, and finally moved to the floor, into a room, out of ICU for the first time. Still on a vent, still very sick. But about the first week in January, I started moving 2 fingers on my left hand and 2 toes on my left foot. And somehow I just knew that it was going to be okay. And I really don't know how I defined okay at that time. Everything was still kind of a blur, kind of a jumble. But there was a guy that came by to see me every Sunday. He was a World War II veteran who was paralyzed by a sniper. His name was Clark Harrison. He was a friend of my uncle's, and the first day he came rolling into the room in his wheelchair. And his comment right off the bat was, you know, you're not the only poor paralyzed SOB in the world. You need to get over that. And as he visited on the Sundays, he proceeded to tell me, you know, I've got a job. I'm a real estate developer. I'm a county commissioner. He says, You know, if you want to run for office, nobody can beat a guy in a wheelchair. He's got the sympathy vote when he goes out. So, Clark was one of those early influencers, and I think the combination of that peer support, the encouragement, and faith was part of the early chemistry that gave me hope that, you know, life could be okay. And I still just had this kind of, it's going to be okay thought process. So it was the 5th of February when we finally left for rehab. Clark Harrison had, had a pressure sore on his leg, and the doctors in Atlanta had said, we'll just stuff it with gauze. One day we'll just amputate your legs. We'd gone out to Denver to a hospital that specialized in rehabilitation. And they did a skin flap, they moved muscle, they gave him a wheelchair with a cushion, taught him how to relieve the pressure, how to take care of himself. As he said, they gave him his life back. Dad flew out, saw it, and came back and told me what he'd seen. He said, what do you want to do? I said, let's go. So we arrived in Denver the 5th of February, and I'd gone from about 180, 85-pound, pretty fit guy, backpacking and surfing and climbing different places around in Africa, to an 82-pound, really buff-looking guy. And, I got to Denver and was starting to move fingers with the help of talcum powder on the board, and then one rubber band, 2 rubber bands. So this was all in about an 8-month period, and then another 5.5 months in rehab. But the 14th of June, I walked out with a crutch on my left arm and a long leg brace, and came back to Atlanta. So I'd gone from being a graduate at the University of Georgia with my roadmap laid out in front of me to taking that hard left turn. And I think all of you all are going to find that you're going to make a hard turn in life. It may be one that's just filled with wild success, a career that you just love passionately, or you may get really challenged. But being a graduate from down here at LaGrange College, one of the most valuable things you've probably got are the critical skills to analyze and think. It doesn't really matter what course you took. It's that skill set of how do you approach, how do you plan, and what do you do when the map changes. And I think you're all going to do marvelous jobs at that, as that map may change in your life. And it's going to be rewarding. And when we got back from Denver, the first thing I did was take Clark Harrison to lunch to say thank you. And I told him, it was a great, you really did a lot for me. Your words of encouragement meant so much. It's that value of having a mentor, and I hope every one of you has at least 2 or 3 that you can get advice from, lean on. I told Clark, I said, Clark, it's a shame that Atlanta was an international city, and they didn't know what to do with you or what to do with me. And I said, someone ought to do this in Atlanta. And he nodded, and I shared with Mother and Dad, and somehow that little thought became a dream. And I guess we just didn't know any better. 14 months later, we opened our doors in a hospital in Atlanta, Georgia, with 6 beds open. We had found a doctor, Dr. David Apple, who gave us the medical credibility we needed. And we just opened the doors, and we got a commitment for up to 22 beds. And we thought, boy, in 5 or 6, 7 years, we might get those full. Well, spinal cord injury at the time was one of the most poorly served, underserved populations, probably in the Southeast, maybe the East Coast, because we were full in less than a year and had a waiting list that started running 20 and 25 very consistently. And we couldn't handle everyone knocking on the door. So we started talking to our friends and deciding, we ought to build a hospital sort of like what they did in Denver, and let's see if we can become an 80-bed facility someday. And we twisted arms. The family business and construction, we worked all over the state of Georgia. So we had a lot of vendors that were pipe equipment, rock salesmen. We beat up every vendor. Mother and Dad beat up every friend they had. I think people kind of didn't want to see us coming because they knew there was going to be an ask, help us with this dream. So we started with an architect, got a design, had a contract signed for $7.2 million. And we had about $1.5 million pledged and in hand. And we were all nervous. We went down to see both Jones at the Woodruff Foundation and said, what do? He said, go ahead and start. When they see the bricks from Peachtree, the money will follow. And I don't know if we believed he was going to bail us out or if the money was really going to come in. But we started, and the funding came. And it's been the story of the Shepherd Center since we began, that every time there was a need and a critical juncture, God looked after us. There was a gift, there was a person, there was a process, something that arrived and let us move forward. So it's been a mission that's been unique in our lives. It's been unique in other people's lives. When I graduated from college, my goal was to touch someone else's life along the way. And I think last count we had, as an institution, we had touched over 20,000 spinal cord injured. We've had other wonderful events, other focuses over the years. We went into the brain injury business probably about 15 years ago, and now about half our beds are brain injury. We run an MS clinic which got about 3,500 patients under care with different therapies and things. We've got a pain center where even the public comes in. We started it to look and see how we could help our patients. One of the things I think that's most rewarding, though, is watching the recreational therapy. It used to be called TR. We've got 16 sports teams: wheelchair basketball, wheelchair tennis, quad rugby, fencing, kayaking, swimming. And I think I measure people's success as rehabilitation facilities by the sports teams that they field, because what it says is we've been able to get that individual who was injured beyond the orthopedic injury or beyond the head injury, re-engage them with a passion for life, re-engage them with their families. And they're out competing and they're having a ball. You watch someone that's quadriplegic in a wheelchair crashing. I don't know how many of you have seen motorball, and getting thrown out on the gym floor and having a ball doing it. And the first time some of the new people come in and see that, they go, oh my gosh, this guy's hurt. Don't worry, you can't feel it anyway. He's going to be okay. This is probably one of the most exciting things. It wasn't, as President McAlexander said, the job I was looking for when I left college. But it's been a job that has been so rewarding, so fulfilling. So I would challenge every one of you to find something that you're passionate about, both the job and outside the job. Seek to touch someone else along the way. Seek to help another person, because there's no grander reward than what you give away to others. So for all of you, reframe and think that your life isn't so much what happens to you, it's what you do about it. Thank you for letting me be a part of this today.
Thank you, Dr. Shepherd, for sharing your amazing story and for your encouraging and inspiring remarks. Thank you so much. The state of Georgia has authorized LaGrange College to confer academic degrees. On behalf of the trustees of the college, I accept the recommendations of the president and the faculty of LaGrange College, and I hereby authorize President McAlexander to confer degrees upon the class of 2013 graduates, together with all the appropriate honors, rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto appertaining. President McAlexander and Provost Garrison, please begin.
Thank you, Chairman Hodges. Before we begin, I'd like to take a moment to say thank you to Registrar Jimmy Herring. who is participating in his 38th LaGrange College commencement. Mr. Herring plans to retire in December. This will be his final calling of the names. Mr. Herring, thank you for serving LaGrange College students so well and so faithfully since 1974. And now, will candidates for the following degrees please rise? Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Music, and Bachelor of Science. President McAlexander, the faculty of LaGrange College certify that these candidates have met the requirements for conferring of degrees of the Bachelor of Arts, the Bachelor of Music, and the Bachelor of Science, and recommend that the appropriate degrees be conferred upon each candidate.
By the authority granted to me by the trustees and by the state of Georgia, I confer upon each of you the degree which you have earned, together with all the appropriate honors, rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto appertaining. Those of you attaining your bachelor's degree may move your tassel from your right to your left and your college ring to face out, signifying that you are graduates of LaGrange College.
At this time, candidates for the Bachelor of Arts degree and the Bachelor of Music degree, please come forward to receive your diploma. All graduates except those in the first row may be seated.
Jennifer Paige Adamson. Taylor Jake Adcock. Taylor Ann Baldwin. Sharonda Nakia Brown. Hafner Renee Buchanan. Allie Burnett. Nicole Burns. Hannah Marie Butts. Kelly G. Calvert. Sarah Patrice Carter. Paige McComb Castle. Stephanie Ann Chambliss. Diane Childs. Keith Ryan Clark. Abigail Grace Clevenger. Robert Gray Clevenger. Anthony Robert Cochran. Terish Renee Copeland. Catherine Wynn Covington. Hilliard Jackson Daniel Jr. Cynthia A. Downs. Todd Robert Dresdo. Kelsey Lee Ellison. Brittany Carol Ellisor. Brittany Elizabeth Franks. William Jacob Freeman. Daniel Stephen Garrett. Jacqueline Denise Gaskin. Kayla Elaine Griselle. David James Grooms. Morgan Danielle Habison. Abigail Deanna Hall. James Ashley Hall. Meldra P. Hall. Nathan L. Hanks, Jr. Catherine Mary Beth Hanson. Stevie Michael Harrison. Erin Louise Hazelrig. Lindsay Erin Heiss. Emma Nicole Higgins. Marguerite Higgins. Jeremy Robert Eigner. Mary Jackson Great. Henry Macbeth Jacobs. Macy Ruth Janney. William K. Johnson. Felicia Celeste Jones. Jelan Talia Jones. Jacob Joel Key. Deanne Morgan Lefevre. Lacey Elizabeth Landrum. Trevor James Lane. Rihanna Christine Lofton. James Curtis Longshore. Shannon Reese Lovett. Thomas Benjamin McMahon. Turquoise Mercedes Mann. Michael Hugh May. Anna Elaine McCurry. Joanna Ruth Meyer. Heather Danae Miller. Miranda Renee Mitchum. Shawanda Murphy. Drake A. Norwald. Ana Lorena Naranjo Vega. Wanda Ann Nelson. James Hilton Odom, Jr. Akina Eve Omai. Hannah Nicole Patterson. Roxanne Paul. Kristen Nicole Perkins. Gerald Torres Pike. Courtney LeSean Pope. Catherine Lee Proctor. Sharva Demetra Pruitt. Christopher Scott Reed. Heather Nicole Rice. John Lee Richter. Knox Alexander Robinson. Kevin Brian Sapp. Douglas Joseph Scherer. Joshua Shane Shiver. Samantha H. Simmons. Henry Duncan Singletary. Rachel Nicole Singleton. Natalie Kate Smith. Jamie Marie Snyder. Paul Garland Standard III. Amanda Lynn Stevenson. Joseph Barry Strickland. Joseph Lamar Strickland. Teresa LaCandice Thompson. Robert Dean Tobias III. Ashley Marie Torrey. Andrew Turner. Michael Val Turner. Marcus Xavier Vaughn. David Matthew Vick. Laura Margaret Weber. Mason Samuel Webster. Shantivra Calvinetta Wilkinson. Andrew Taylor Williamson. Madison Alexandra Wilson. Megan Elizabeth Wing. Emery E. Wingard. W.C. Yates III, Kelsey Joyce Vaughn, Ayesha Akia Young, Christopher Emil Apple, Douglas Abraham Bassett, Austin Bradford Burns, James Hugh Camp III, Elena Noel Cook, Erin Louise Hazelwig, Jared Richard Martin, Amy Elizabeth Peak, David Joseph Thomas,
The folks standing to your right are now folks who will receive the Bachelor of Science degree.
Taylor Jake Adcock, Kristen Leanne Barton, Kia LaShawn Britton, Charles Jonathan Brock, Chad Barton Chandler, Sarah Joy Cleveland, Kylie Alyssa Deese, Aaron Moses Duncan, Brandon James Espinoza, Kayla Paige Folds, Angelica Liliana Ferrero, David Gregory Hambrick, Matthew Allen Hokinson, Kendrick Anthony Hudson, Anthony Michael Ionetta, Devin Brent James, Arnold Lee Jefferson Jr., Michael Anthony Jones Jr., Lamenda Carol Callum, David W. Kelton, Dong Hui Kim, Brent Wooten Kinsey, Alexandra Lasky, Miles Hurd Lee, Jordan Robert McGaw, Erin Jody McKinstry, Kenneth Walford Nilsson III. Michael Vernon Anthony Ortiz, Jr. Megan Leanne Osika. James Linwood Roberts. Stephanie Rojas Chavarria. Kenneth Charles Strack. Josiah Sweet. Felipe de Jesus Vega Solerio. Robert Jowers Williams. Chandler Robert Winter. James Leonard Yancey.
President McAlexander, this concludes the conferring of the degrees. Please join me in offering a round of applause for all graduates in the class of 2013.
Graduates, we could not be prouder of you. We wish you Godspeed. We wish you all the best in your next endeavors, and we look forward to hearing from you. This is your alma mater. This is the place to which you return. Please do not forget to keep in touch with each other, keep in touch with your professors, keep in touch with all of the rest of us. We want to hear about you. We want to know what happens in your lives, because we know we're going to hear wonderful and great and exciting and inspiring things from you. At the conclusion of the ceremony, a couple of things I'd like to say that are not in the normal order of business. We would ask that the graduates process outward as part of the processional, but everybody else remain seated. But then at the conclusion, once the music quits playing, we would ask that everybody move on out of the building as quickly as possible, because as you may know, we have another graduation in about 25 minutes in this building. So, but we know you're going to want to take pictures, you want to say goodbye to friends, you're going to want to introduce friends to family and family to friends. So what we are doing is we are opening the library and the cafeteria so that there's a place to gather if it is continuing to rain, and I just heard thunder just about 15 minutes ago, so it probably is. At the conclusion of the second ceremony, there will be food in the cafeteria. The library will be open. Certainly, if you're still around, please take time to socialize. We had hoped to do that with the tents and with a reception out on the lawn, but this is our next best opportunity to find large places where you can gather and take pictures and have a good time together. So please do that. So now, please rise for the singing of the alma mater, after which the Reverend Dr. Quincy Brown will offer the benediction. Please remain in place during the academic recessional. And thank you for being part of this most unique and unusual celebration of graduation today.
Let's
receive the benediction. As you go from this place to use your education and your gifts and service to the world, may the road you travel rise up to greet you, and may the wind and the rain be at your back. And if the road refuses to rise up, and if the rain refuses to stop, follow it boldly with umbrellas into the valley. For God is the God of all weather and is found in the valley. And if the road rises too high and becomes too steep to follow, go to the summit of the mountain, for God is high upon the mountaintop. And if you feel the wind at your face, stretch out your wings and fly on the Spirit's promise that God will never leave nor forsake you. So now, go in peace, with your face shining like the sun, and boldly follow your path into the future, wherever God may lead you. Amen.